I am uploading my number 2 for my screencast. This is because the other one ran out of time, so I'm going to start off where I left off before, which is the marathon runner would, let's do this again. While the athlete would be trained at a high intensity, the athlete's muscles would be tearing and repairing. Protein would be vital for the marathon runner because throughout the marathon their muscles would be tearing, so the muscle fibers would need to be repaired. I only reduced it slightly because the marathon runner needs to consume large amounts of carbohydrates to perform at their optimum. I also made daily intake of fats for a marathon runner at 10%. This is because fat is vital for the body to function. The role of fats is to protect the internal organs. The fat around the organs also stops the impact around the organs and stops them damaging. The fats also help the body to maintain our core body temperature. The fat would provide energy so the individual can last throughout the race. Fats also help the body grow and repair. The marathon runner needs fats because they play a vital role in supplying the individual with energy and maintaining our core body temperature. For minerals, the marathon runner would need to have the maximum amount of zinc and sodium. This is because zinc assists carbon dioxide levels. This would be vital for the marathon runner as they would be working aerobically and would need to get rid of the carbon dioxide so the muscles doesn't tire throughout the race. I've also decided to place sodium in the marathon runner's diet. This is because sodium helps to maintain the water balance. This is vital throughout the marathon race because the marathon runner would lose a lot of water throughout the race, so it's vital that the water is preserved. The blood would need to have a good amount of water so it would be transporting oxygen and nutrients to the working muscles. The marathon runner would also need vitamins in their diet. They should have a good supply of vitamin B and D. Vitamin D gives the body energy. Without a constant supply of energy, the muscles would fatigue and they would not complete the race properly. If they didn't perform at their best ability, they would most likely not win the race. Vitamin D gives the bone strength. Without a source of vitamin D, for example calcium, the marathon runner wouldn't be able to contract their muscles and would have weak bones. Fiber doesn't affect the marathon runner at all really. This is because their digestive system would be working effectively from the stable diet they have already. The daily intake of water should be increased massively. This is because the marathon runner would lose sweat throughout the race. The marathon runner should have double the amount of an average person's water in daily intake. This is because the marathon runner would be training and losing large percentages of water through sweat during training. Also, water will help keep the flow of the blood. This is vital because the oxygen and nutrients can be delivered to the muscles. The marathon runner wouldn't be able to transport energy, therefore this will impact performance negatively and they would be unlikely to win the race. Now moving on to a weightlifter's diet, I have decided to put carbohydrate daily intake of 45%, protein daily intake 30%, and fat daily intake at 25%. I have reduced carbohydrates into 45%. However, they will still need to be a large part of their weightlifter's diet. Throughout any activity, the individual would need energy to perform at their best ability. The weightlifter would need to lift the weights. The weightlifter would need to consume more of simple carbohydrates rather than complex carbohydrates. Without consuming simple carbohydrates, the athlete would not gain and wouldn't be able to lift more weight. The weightlifter would have strong, forceful muscular contractions and would need short bursts of energy, so therefore simple carbohydrates would need to be in their diet. This is because they are easy to break down because they are made of 1 or 2 molecules. The person would often feel energetic as the energy released from simple carbohydrates are consumed by the body quickly. I have reduced fats into 25%. For the weightlifter, the fat would play a vital role in the body. For example, the role of fat is to protect the internal organs. The fat around the organs absorbs the impact, so it stops the organs from damaging. The fat also helps the body to maintain our core body temperature. Also, fats help our muscles grow and repair. The weightlifter would put the muscle under huge amounts of pressure and unwanted stress, so it's vital that the weightlifter consumes 25% fats to help maintain and growth and repair the muscle. Also, fats help with structure of the cells. For example, fats would help maintain a structure, therefore the weightlifter will be able to perform at their best ability. I've increased protein to 30%. This is the main nutrient the weightlifter would need to be this is the nutrient the weightlifter would need to dramatically increase. This is because the role of protein is growth and repair of muscles. Throughout training, the muscle fibers would be constantly tearing, so it is vital that the weightlifter consumes them. As protein makes a muscle increase in size, therefore the weightlifter would be able to lift weight and perhaps win the competition, as a larger muscle size should therefore increase the strength of the weightlifter's capabilities. The weightlifter would need to intake vitamin D. This is because the muscle and the joints of the bones would be under huge amounts of stress and pressure. The source of vitamin D would be calcium. Calcium helps prevent weak bones. Also, they would need vitamin D to be taken regularly. Vitamin E protects the cell walls. This would be crucial for weightlifters because the cell walls would be likely to be damaged when the weightlifter shifts shifts heavy weight. This would allow the weightlifter to compete because their cells would not be damaged. The weightlifter would need to consume the minerals calcium and zinc. The weightlifter would need to consume calcium because calcium helps the muscle contract and the formation of the bones. This is vital because the bone and muscle would be able to withstand the weight and pressure, so the muscle fiber could not be damaged, or even the joints of the bone could be damaged. Also, zinc would be vital for the weightlifter. Zinc helps assist carbon dioxide levels. Once the weightlifter has finished each rep, oxygen debt would be taking place, so therefore the lactic acid doesn't build up and cause the muscle to fatigue. If the weightlifter didn't consume zinc in their diet, their muscle would tire, therefore resulting in losing the competition. The fiber doesn't need to increase above 18 grams because fiber will not affect the performance in any way. The water would be slightly increased. This is because the weightlifter would sweat during activity. This would ensure that the vital oxygen and nutrients will be delivered to the working muscles. This is why they wouldn't need so much, because they aren't working for long periods of time. For digestion, there are 3 roles to digestion. They are digestion. The term digestion means the act or process of converting food into a chemical substance that can be absorbed and assimilated. Absorption. The definition of this is the act of taking up or in by specific chemical or molecular action, especially the passage of liquids or other substances through a surface of a body into the body fluids and tissues, as in absorption of the end products of digestion into the villi that line the intestine. The definition of excretion is the process whereby the undigested residue of the food and the waste products of metabolism are eliminated. Material is removed to regulate the composition of body fluids and tissues, or substances are expelled to perform functions on an exterior surface. Right, next we'll be moving on to the purpose games. We'll be labeling the digestive system. Here we go. Let's move this down. What's going on? There we go. Right, the large intestine. The large intestine is this bit here. The large intestine, this is where chyme reaches it. This is where chyme reaches with the fluids and the indigestible matter. Then it passes the indigestible matter to the rectum. Right, the next one is the small intestine. The small intestine is this coiled bit here. The small intestine, they have a structured called villi. This is where absorption happens, so the juices would be absorbed, then would be excreted through the urine. Right, the pancreas. The pancreas is located just here. The pancreas. The pancreas produces digestive juices. This helps digest and breaks down food. The anus would be at the bottom. The anus this is where waste products are removed from our body. This is indigestible matter which then comes out as feces. The duodenum is a tube that passes down. The tube that goes into the small intestine and comes from the stomach. This is the passage where food gets from the stomach to the small intestine. And the next one is the rectum. The rectum. The rectum collects the indigestible matter before pushing the waste through the anus. The liver. The liver, this makes the pancreatic juices. They are used for digestion. Now we're going on to the gallbladder. The gallbladder is this little bit here. Right, the gallbladder. This is where the concentrated bile is stored. The bile is one of the digestive juices that helps break down food. Let's move on to the mouth. The mouth. Teeth and jaws grind food and mix it with saliva. Saliva contains the enzyme amylase which begins to break down food. This is the oesophagus, the long tube here. The oesophagus is the food part which takes food down to the stomach. It pushes food down in a wave-like motion. This is known as peristalsis. The stomach is this shape here. The stomach. Oh dear. Sorry. This is a large mixer bowl. The food is turned into chyme. Hydrochloric acid helps break it down and kills the bacteria.